Yes, enough questions there raised on the possible success or lack thereof of the ongoing mass voter registration exercise that kicked off yesterday and is supposed to go on for the next at least 28 more days till the end of October. Now, to help us understand more about what's happening on the ground, we have in studio this evening Dr. Eroo Mele, who's a county election manager in Nairobi County. It is the largest single county by voter numbers, 2.25 million voters registered just before the 2017 poll. Karibu sana, Daktari, to help us understand exactly what's going on. But of this huge chunk of 6 million or more potentially new voters that your IEBC hopes to register countrywide, with Nairobi currently having the largest number, if at all we look at single counties, how much of that chunk is supposed to be native within Nairobi?
Thank you, Mr. Ndemale, for having me in the studio. As you've correctly observed, Nairobi is expected to net a chunk of the targets in our enhanced continuous voter registration. And we are looking forward to bring on board in our role of register around 517,000.
517,000, that's a huge number. This is the second day of the voter registration exercise. How much of these 500,000 have you achieved so far?
We've not achieved much, and this is because of the culture of our Kenyans coming at the very last of every exercise. And so until the end of business today, we've done a very marginal number, and that could translate to around 5.5%.
5.5%, that could be around 20,000?
17,800.
17,800 in 2 days' time. Do you think that this 500,000 number is a bit, well, you overstepped, that probably you'll not get to that number, that it's over-ambitious probably?
Well, not quite. I'll not agree that it is quite ambitious because of what I said, the culture of Kenyans. We still anticipate that the turnout will increase as we go into the enhanced continuous voter registration, and that our efforts, like what we're doing now in the studio, to mobilize Kenyans to come in their numbers to register, may see them come.
Okay.
We still believe turnout will increase as we move into the exercise.
Okay, and from that story by Dan Karaoke, we have the chairman of the IEBC complaining about the funding for this process and other processes leading up to the elections next year. One of those issues that have been greatly affected, and probably that's why the numbers are low, is the matter of civic and voter education, that probably before this exercise started, we did not see or hear much about it up until probably last week, that yes, only a few people knew that there was going to be voter registration in October. How come there was not much noise? And has that really affected the outcome?
In a way, it might seem like there hasn't been much noise in terms of sensitizing Kenyans in their need to register as voters. But the Constitution mandates IEBC to continuously conduct voter education, which we've ably done in our constituency offices. Of course, it has been confined within the constituency offices. We've had outreaches in every constituency. Nairobi County, where I manage, has outreaches quarterly, and in every constituency monthly. That may not have made that adequate voice that would reach to the masses.
Yes.
Because of probably you not coming on board, because it also took you, the media houses, until the 4th to come on board, invite us here to try to drum up, most Kenyans to come and register. So it is, yes, to some degree, and to our mandate, we've ably done it.
So you do agree that the IEBC could have done more probably to actually talk more about the impending voter registration exercise? Probably the turnout would have been better, because this is an issue that has been raised by your chairman. Do you feel that more could have been done, and that would have enabled or made your work easier here in Nairobi to actually get a lot of the youth, mostly of whom are in Nairobi attending college, universities, maybe even from a country, but they're here currently, and so it would be under your jurisdiction to ensure that they get registered as voters.
Indemnity, it is our mandate.
Yes.
I don't agree with what you're saying the chairman said. The chairman at the policy level said that I am the hands of the commission on the ground, for example, here in Nairobi. I can tell you categorically, we've had outreaches to most informal settlements in Nairobi. We've reached out in social media to the youths that leave colleges and universities to come and register as voters. All I know is that we've done the bit we can do within the ability in this point in time to reach out to them, and we know it has worked.
Well, could it have been different, or would the turnout have been different if at all more resources were availed? That's a question.
The fact that it didn't happen, I'm contented with what we've done as a commission, especially here in Nairobi, and that our target will be realized going forward.
Okay, now there are other issues that arise if at all this number actually gets to list as voters, because this will change a lot of the workings towards the election. For example, in as far as the number of polling stations are concerned. With issues such as funding coming up right now, because we are made to understand that out of the 40 billion budget that the IEBC put out, only about the Treasury will provide only about 26 billion. Do you think that getting this huge number of new voters, the IEBC will still be able to take care of them come election day?
IEBC has conducted elections ever since it was constituted by the new constitution, and that I don't see any reason whatsoever why we will not conduct, the numbers notwithstanding.
Despite the budgetary constraints?
Well, it is my bosses, my employer, who negotiates for the budgets. I have no information where that is concerned. All I know is that come the date of the general election, I, as the foot soldier here in Nairobi, will conduct the election.
Okay, let's take a look at probably now the cost burden of conducting the mass registration in as far as Nairobi is concerned. For example, how many temporary workers have you had to bring on board to conduct this 30-day exercise?
There has been a limit, I can attest to that, and that, of course, we've not gone to every registration center as the Commission would wish. And this brings on board the issue of the financial constraints. So that notwithstanding...
So it is a constraint.
Well, it is a constraint because we've not moved our kids to every registration center. However, to take care of that constraint, we've configured the 3 kits within the geographical location of every county assembly wards, such that the movement of the kit covers the entire registration centers that did not get the allocation of a kit. Okay. So in the end of the day, it is well taken care of. Okay. The fact that we did not roll out all the kits to the registration centers.
Okay, there are reports and pronouncements that there could be a possible second phase of registration probably next year ahead of the election. Do you hope that probably between this exercise that ends at the end of this month and that one that probably more resources will be availed and work will be much easier?
Mr. Ndimuli, predicting about the resources may not be my job. All I know is that in the next 28 days, Kenyans, and especially those that are residents in Nairobi, should come and register. Yeah. At least for that, I can assure them we will register them. Whether there will be funds for another addition, it's not for my making. Okay. I am here to tell them, please turn out in every registration center and be registered. And
as you indicated, let's now play some civic education role or voter education role. There are quite a number of questions that are being asked. For example, someone asks here, must I go to my polling station to register? Is it a requirement that you have to go to the polling station where you cast your vote or where you probably hope to cast your vote to register?
In the ideal situation where we've rolled out the machines to every registration center, that would be it. But now, like I've explained earlier, we've configured these kits to cover all the registration centers within a county assembly ward, the 3 of them. He doesn't have to go there. All he needs to do is to know where he'll vote. Ideally, after this registration exercise, we will post all the data of the registration exercise to every station for voters to come and view, raise claims where necessary, and even get to know where they'll be casting their vote come the general election. So it's not a must that he goes to where he'll register, because we can capture his details, and then with this application form, which is Form A, enters where he prefers to cast his vote from. Then we shall, actually, the Commission shall capture his details there.
Okay. Another question is for existing voters who are already registered. Someone is asking whether or not you can be allowed to go to the registration center and change your polling station.
At the moment, no. There is a law that have been applicable in this point in time, which wasn't earlier on applicable. That is the Regulation 13C that requires that every voter who intends to transfer his voting to a different constituency must show proof of residence to that constituency of preference. So the Commission has given a directive that we restrict transfers to constituency offices.
A process which is still ongoing?
No. It is ongoing at the moment. The clerks who are with the kids, the 3 kids in every county assembly wards, are not doing it, are not performing the transfers. It's only the registration officer or the assistant registration officer who are staff of the Commission who perform that task.
Is that process ongoing, probably parallel to this mass voter registration? That even
it is ongoing,
so people can still go.
Absolutely, people can still go and do that.
And what about people who are asking whether or not they are registered voters, but should they register afresh? Because some people do not understand what exactly is this enhanced mass registration going on. Does it mean that everyone should register afresh?
Enhanced continuous voter registration is not a new process. It is a process that has been going on. It has been continuing, albeit confined within every constituencies or in the entire country. We have 290 constituencies. Every constituency office would register, has been registering. If you've been registered already, it means you are in our register of voters. What you need to go is to approach that registration clerk, ask him to show you your details of registration upon you giving out your identity card.
So already registered voters can use this process to verify?
To verify their registration. Actually, every BVR kit is accompanied by a
Wouldn't that slow down the process of
we have 2 clerks. We have 2 clerks who man each BVR kit. One clerk can ably manage the registration of one as the other one tries to verify.
And lastly, as we finish up this interview, what is the main requirement for any potential new voter? What am I required to come with so that I can be able to be registered as a voter?
Any adult citizen of this Republic of Kenya is required to carry with him a national identity card.
Not Huduma number card?
Not Huduma number. The other document of identification would be a valid passport. The 2 documents only are recognized by our law for any Kenyan to register with.
Thank you so much, Dr. Eroo Mele, County Election Manager, Nairobi, for helping us understand the ongoing mass registration of voters. The exercise kicked off yesterday and is continuing countrywide up until the end of this month. Let's take a break. We'll be back with more news.